All right, it is time for Michigan football, true or false. One of the more popular segments we have introduced recently. Have got 8 true or false questions for you for the 2018 Michigan football season. Let's take a look at this first true or false. Shea Patterson will win the Heisman Trophy. Type 1 for true, type 2 if you think it's false. Now, Shea Patterson started 10 games in his college career, has never taken a snap at the University of Michigan as their quarterback, so this seems maybe a little ridiculous, but it is not that far off if you consider what the sports books, BetDSI, and the rest of the sports books in Vegas and offshore are putting out there. We see the names we all know. Guys like J.K. Dobbins and Jake Fromm, and of course Bryce Love from Stanford is your favorite, Wisconsin's running back, Alabama's quarterback. But let's take a look at this next list. You've got Shea Patterson right in the fray there with the seventh best odds for the Heisman Trophy. Our sponsor of the show, BetDSI, says, hey, put $10 on Shea, you'll win $165 if he wins the Heisman. So although I don't necessarily think it is likely, he's certainly not a leader in the clubhouse for this. Michigan has had 3 Heisman Trophy winners. As we all know, could Shea Patterson be that 4th Heisman Trophy winner? I know from you guys, type 1 for true, type 2 for false. Get in the comments going on YouTube or watching live on Facebook Live on the Chat Sports, the Michigan Wolverines by Chat Sports Facebook page. I'm going to go ahead and say false on this one. I don't think he is going to get the amount of passes and be able to put the kind of stats you're going to need to compete with some of these high air raid style offenses that other teams have. But if Michigan goes 12-0, if they make the Big Ten championship game, if they make the playoff, Shea Patterson has a decent chance. I think it's worth putting $10 on chatsports.com/bet. Put $10 down with BetDSI. You can use promo code GOBLUE to get 120% bonus offer on your money to bet Shea Patterson. That is a Michigan fan-only promo code. Next one up. Will Jim McElwain be on the Michigan football staff in 2019, a year from now? Go ahead and type Y for true, type N for false. Now, we're switching these up. I know people a couple weeks back said, hey, they're all true. They're all 1 and 2, true and false. We're going to switch them up throughout so you can see what your peers watching this show, the #1 Michigan football show in the world, most watched, what they are thinking. Type Y for true, type N for false. Will Jim McElwain be on the staff in 2019, or is he a one and done? I'm going to go ahead and say false on this one, ladies and gentlemen. I think Jim McElwain is short for Ann Arbor. It's a 1-year stopover, and he's going to go for a lower Power 5 or a Group of 5 head coaching job after the 2018 season if Michigan has the type of turnaround season many are predicting, including myself. Next one, number 3, true or false, Michigan will win at Notre Dame September 1st. I want you to type in M in the comments if it's true. M is clear for Michigan. If it's false, Notre Dame's going to win this bad boy. Type in ND. Let me know what you think. You can bet this game right now. Michigan is a 2.5-point favorite on BetDSI. That is up from being a 6.7-point underdog 6 months ago before Shea Patterson came to the University of Michigan before he was eligible. So M for true, ND for false. I am going to say ding, true. I think this one is going to happen. I believe it'll be much like the Florida game last year. Michigan may struggle on offense in the beginning. That defense is going to be everywhere, flying all over the ball. It might be a little bit uglier of a game than we want, but don't get all excited if Michigan ends up winning by 10, 14, 17 points. I think this Notre Dame team is kind of a paper tiger. They're not going to be a really good team. A lot of holes they have to fill this year. So if Michigan wins that one on the road, don't think it spells national championship or anything like that for Michigan. They will be tested in the month of October. Wisconsin, Penn State, of course, and then Michigan State in the month of October. So, all right, next one up, Donovan Peoples-Jones. Will he lead Michigan in receptions? If you've watched this show before, you know how atrocious the Michigan receiving corps was last year. No touchdown passes, touchdown receptions by a receiver after the 3rd game of the year. Type in A for true. Type in B for false. Will Donovan Peoples-Jones lead Michigan in receptions? I am going to go out there. I'm going to say true. Donovan Peoples-Jones will lead the team in receptions, and that is not because he's the best receiver in the team. It's because the offense Michigan is putting in with Shea Patterson taking 50% or more of the snaps from shotgun read. He's going to get a lot of those run-pass option plays where he is catching 3, 4, 5-yard slants and comeback routes, short passes. He's going to rack up those stats. You might see him having a 13, 14 catch game, but only get 75 yards catching because a lot of them are 5 yards. Michigan's offense should, if Shea Patterson is successful, be a lot more different. Certainly a lot different than it was in 2017. All right, next up, true, false. Michigan will score 60 points in a game in 2018. We all saw how atrocious the offense was last year. Want to know from you guys before we show you a little bit of evidence of how hard it is. Type 1 for true, type 2 for false. 60 points, that happens all the time in college football. This shouldn't be a big deal, right? We're going to crush EMU or all these other schools, SMU by 60. Well, not so fast, my friends. In the last 30 years, it's only happened 10 times for Michigan football. We see Jim Harbaugh's had, against Rutgers, against Hawaii. Rich Rod actually has pretty much some of the most of any coach. Brady Hoke even got one in there, 2012. Look at 2010, 2009. Then you've got the entire Lloyd Carr era. Never scored 60 points in a game when Lloyd Carr was the head coach of the University of Michigan. A couple there with Gary Moeller against Minnesota, against Houston. And then Bo Schembechler, second to last season at Wisconsin, 62-14 in 1988. So type 1 for true, type 2 for false. What do I think about this one? Will Michigan score 60 points in a game this year? I am going to say true. The offense is out to make a statement that Jim Harbaugh knows what he's doing, of course. I think there'll be a couple games, much like that Rutgers game a couple years back, maybe that Michigan just keeps it rolling, scores 65, maybe even 70 points in the game. I am saying true on this one. All right, want to hear from you guys on this next one. This is one that I keep getting asked about. True or false, will Michigan wear alternative uniforms in 2018? What is an alternative uniform? Not the standard blue, not the standard white now. It used to be a maize jersey. What will they wear white and not the blue. So what will they wear to all these games? Will they put an alternative uniform in there? Notre Dame recently announced that they were wearing their Notre Dame green for the Michigan game. As we scroll through these past Michigan uniforms, alternative jerseys, this is the first one back in 2011, the Big M, the throwback jersey. Will Michigan wear an alternative jersey? I think that it is potentially possible, but I don't want to go out on a limb and say this is a James Yoder exclusive that they will. But with Notre Dame announcing that they are going to wear these green jerseys that we have coming up here in just a moment, I think it is likely that Michigan potentially thinks a second time about wearing those green. You're wearing an alternative jersey, maybe for the Notre Dame game, if Notre Dame would allow them maybe to wear the maize jerseys. That would clash a little bit, of course. But I am going to say on this topic, will Michigan wear an alternative jersey? I'm going to say true. I think it's probably not in the cards yet. They're probably considering it. I think ultimately they'll pull it out for one of the bigger games, maybe one of those night games at home that we keep teasing in our Chat Sports Michigan football rumor section. Next up, true or false, Shea Patterson will rush for over 300 yards. Not in a game, not like 250 or so like Denard Robinson had. I'm talking about for the entire season. Type 3 for true, which would be 300 yards. Type 4 for false. Shea Patterson, people keep saying he's the scrambler. He makes all these plays with his feet. If you look at his stats from Ole Miss, he almost never ran the ball. And he made some plays where he scrambled around in the pocket, but he wasn't taking off and running for 20 and 30 and even 50-yard gains like Denard Robinson and some others said. So I'm actually going to say false. I only think he's going to have 150, 200 yards rushing on the entire year. So I am saying false on this one. Will Shea Patterson will rush for over 300 yards in a game in 2018? All right, we've got our next up on the list, true, false. Will Michigan's defense in 2018 have 2 or more shutouts? Now, everybody remembers how hot Jim Harbaugh's defense got off to in 2015 with those 3 straight shutouts. So type in D for true, type in N for false. The D stands for defense. All right, let's take a look at what Michigan has done as far as shutouts are concerned under Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh's been at Michigan for 3 seasons. 4 shutouts, none last year with that putrid offense. It's going to be very difficult for them to get any shutouts because they kept giving the other team the ball in such advantageous position. The defense is always on their heels, especially against the better opponents. In 2015, 3 straight shutouts, as we see, 31-0, 28-0, 38-0 against 3 teams, and then of course in 2016 that big time 78-0 blowout against against Rutgers on the road in New Jersey. So type in D for true, type in N for false. I am going to go out on a limb and say true on this one. I do think Michigan will get 2 or more shutouts this year, potentially SMU and some other teams. This defense is so stacked that they're going to have the ability to do it maybe in 8-9 games. They of course won't, but as long as the offense is able to move the ball, they will get at least 2 shutouts this season and potentially be an all-time great defense should they outperform those expectations I've put on for having 2 shutouts. You can bet some of these things I've talked about. Shea Patterson for Heisman. Michigan, how many games are they going to win? Are they going to beat Notre Dame by more than a field goal? Chatsports.com chatsports.com/bet. Michigan fans only. I called them up. I said, hey guys, we need a Michigan promo code. They said, hey James, put that in your show. 120% bonus. You put in, $50, you're gonna get 60 free. Put in 100, 120 free. Put in 500, that is $600 free cash. Chatsports.com/bet. BetDSI is where I am making straight cash, homie, this fall. Go ahead and sign up today. Send me a screenshot. Send me a DM on Twitter to tell me what you signed up with the Michigan Football Report. And that was true or false.